This module will discuss value stream mapping, understanding your current process. In this module, we will explain the hows and whys of mapping. By the end of this module, learners will be able to define value stream and value stream map, describe the purpose and benefits of value stream mapping, explain the value stream map legend, and finally, map a process using this legend. Let's regroup and review where we are in our overall QI process. The project is identified, team formed, and an aim has been drafted and refined. Measures have been identified that will demonstrate the aim accomplishment. Relating to those measures, baseline data has been collected and inserted into a tool, for example, an Excel spreadsheet, to enable analysis. And a Gemba walk to understand how the process is being currently performed has been conducted by the team, with waste and some ideas for improvement identified. What's next? Now it's time to move on to one of the most effective and popular tools in our Lean toolbox, the value stream map. First, let's review a little about value stream and flow. A value stream is the actions, both value-added and non-value-added, required to provide a product or service to a customer. In the healthcare world, usually the customer is our patient. Taking a value stream perspective means we look at the bigger picture of a process and improve the whole, not just individual process steps. Value stream map is a pencil and paper tool that helps a team see and understand the flow of the paper, information, and/or customers on a path through the value stream. This tool is extremely useful to analyze the current process and generate ideas to improve the flow and reduce or eliminate waste. The purpose of the value stream map is to see the flow of the process as well as to surface problems. When the problems are actually seen and identified, countermeasures can be developed to improve. If a definitive process is implemented to provide a product or service, a value stream map can be used, and it is especially helpful when time is an important measure. It can be used to document an existing process or to develop a new process and apply lean concepts to the new process flow. If the process contains many decision points, a process flow chart may be a better tool. The benefits of building a value stream map are that it helps to visualize the entire system and its flow, helps to identify waste and the sources of waste. This makes decisions about the flow apparent so they can be openly discussed. Indicates in detail and often with data what to correct. Becomes a blueprint for the future state improvements, and builds teamwork across the system by analyzing the process and system versus blaming the individuals. To get started on your value stream map, you'll need the right supplies. These include butcher block paper, approximately 5 feet, assorted colors of Post-it notes, and Sharpies and flip chart markers. You'll also need a vacant wall and painter's tape to affix the butcher block paper to the wall. It's also helpful to have a meeting room in which to work with your team. Their input is vital for an accurate map and for buy-in. In preparation of building a value stream map, we need to become familiar with commonly used lean icons or symbols and the steps to follow. These icons are the language of lean. This legend was developed as a guide for anyone who's new to mapping. Although there is much more to mapping than what is demonstrated in this module, the instructions on this legend will provide a good starting point from which to learn. Let's review the icons at the bottom of the legend, going left to right. The customer symbol is the crown. The customer is identified within the icon, such as patient. The process box, or block, is where a high-level process step is written, such as registration. Detailed steps for registration would be included in a notes block, which is not shown in the legend, but is in our example that follows. The triangle represents inventory or work in process, or a delay in the process. These delays can be between process steps, such as between registration and taking patient vital signs as the patient waits in the lobby, or within a process step, such as waiting in line at the copier to make 10 copies of a meeting agenda. The green box is for information or software. Sometimes we map information flow or indicate software use to perform each process step. Perhaps a long process uses a larger, more complex state system for several steps. Showing the software usage can be helpful information when it's used widely across a larger system and can be the source of problems. For example, if the system only allows access to a restricted number of people, that often result in the waste of waiting to access the system, or many people accessing it simultaneously could result in an extremely slow process, causing our process to take longer. Starburst or Kaizen burst represent improvement ideas. These ideas are intended to counter problems identified during the gimbal walk. Starbursts are placed near the process step that they impact. Data box or block records information such as cycle time, the amount of time one step takes, error rates, work in process, etc. The other two icons, as shown in step 4 of the table, are the straight line arrow or jagged arrow. The straight line represents a manual process flow or transfer of information, whereas the jagged arrow represents an electronic transfer of information, such as email, telephone, fax, or a larger software system that's networked. Note, the Post-it note colors are arbitrary. It's helpful to use different colors for each icon type just to better distinguish them. In the left columns on the table above the icons, you will see a step number and step name and description. It is easier to learn how to build a map experientially. Therefore, our next slide will show you step by step how to do this. We'll use the steps in the legend as a guide. This slide represents a plain piece of butcher block paper. Note that in the upper right-hand corner is the name of the organization, ABC Clinic, the name of the process they're mapping, patient visit, and an indication that the map represents the current state, as opposed to the future state or ideal state. Often, the date the map is created is noted in this area as well. This example value stream map is electronic. The value stream map has much more impact when it is presented and studied in the much larger version using the butcher block paper and Post-it notes. This large display is very effective in helping the team and staff see the flow, the problems, and improvement ideas. Now, let's proceed step by step. First, we're going to build our major process steps as identified in the gimbal walk. In a value stream map, step 1 is to write the customer in the crown icon and place it at the top of the map, near the center. This is because our customer is the reason that the process is needed, so we begin with him or her in mind. In our example, the patient is our customer for the patient visit process. Our process steps come next, dropping down and to the far left for the first process step, in our case, registration. The icon in the bottom left of the registration box shows that staff is needed to perform the process and is noted on the box as one front desk staff person. The triangle represents a wait between the registration and intake process steps. Note that 7 patients were observed for an average wait time of 6 minutes and a range of time from 0 to 17 minutes. You will soon see that data becomes very important throughout the process. Step 2 is the intake process, where one medical assistant is needed. Note in this example we have color-coded process steps to visually display the different staff performing each process step. Green is for the medical assistants, gold is for the front desk staff, and blue is for the physician. It is not necessary to color code, but in some instances it is helpful to indicate where one staff person is handling more than they should, which can create a bottleneck. Step 3 is the patient's visit with the physician who conducts the exam and orders treatment and testing. Step 4, treatment and testing, shows the medical assistant executing the physician orders. Step 5, the final step, is checkout, which is handled by the front desk. Next, we'll begin with our data block for step 1, using one consistent Post-it note color. C/T stands for cycle time, or how long on average it takes to perform this step. In this case, we have an average of 4.5 minutes for the 7 patients observed. We continue moving right to add data for the rest of the process steps. This C/T data will be useful later when we look at the overall time of the process. One tip about recording times: be sure to use the same increments, i.e., convert all times to minutes or days or hours. Try to avoid mixing these, as it could easily lead to faulty data in the final analysis. Now we move back to step 1 and begin information blocks. For the purposes of this demonstration, we are handling each icon type one at a time in a linear fashion. In reality, that does not occur. It is usually helpful to add the information block at the same time as the high-level process step is written. The information block will detail all the work necessary in that step and who performs it. This can be helpful to identify whether these detail pieces can be eliminated, performed by someone else, or moved to a different area on the map for the future state. We add the detail to each process step, matching the Post-it color with the main process box. We now have the major process steps, the detailed process pieces, and related data on the map. It's useful to keep the team focused on completing these key icons before identifying improvements via starbursts, but sometimes team members get caught up in jumping to their improvement ideas while creating the map. It's fine to ask your team to write down ideas on starbursts and place them on the table in front of them until you're ready for them, thus encouraging engagement and ensuring ideas aren't forgotten. Next, step back and review the map and revise as needed based on team feedback. As you move through it from left to right, begin adding the team starburst ideas and place each one close to the process step. You can have a team member announce out loud their idea to avoid duplication of ideas on the map, and have them place the starburst on the map, which can also keep the team involved. Let's tackle the total time now. This icon is called the lead time ladder, or sawtooth. You will draw it, then transfer the process step cycle times and wait times down to it. The upper rung houses the wait time. The bottom rung shows the cycle time. After this data is transferred, add the top rung times and place that number on the far right. In this example, we only have one wait in the process for a total average wait time of 6 minutes. Wait time is typically much greater than this, so do not be surprised if it's a large number, sometimes larger than the bottom rung. Add the times located on the bottom rung and place the total at the far right. In this case, an average of 29.96 or 30 minutes. By adding the total wait times to total of the cycle times, we get the overall lead time as denoted by the red outline box at the bottom right. This process has an average lead time of 36 minutes. It would be hard to improve that time if that was the aim. In this example, the team was looking for other efficiencies as noted in the starbursts. This brings up an important point. If the main focus of the project's aim is to reduce the time, gathering cycle times and including a lead time ladder is essential. In other projects, it may not be necessary. However, it never hurts to include as verification that our lead time is okay, or discovery that it needs attention in order to satisfy our customers and staff. When the value stream map is complete, take time to study and analyze it. Where is slow stopping or slowing down? Where are errors occurring, and where do these errors first show up in the value stream? These errors often require rework downstream, and the process repeated to get back to where it was. Which steps are taking longer than desired and why? Is there variation in the process that's causing inconsistencies? In our example, perhaps be curious about the weight range. What caused the high end of the range to be 17 minutes? Could that occur again? And if so, how do we correct it? How do we replicate the low end of the weight range? Upon completion of the value stream map, what's next? When can we begin making changes? As humans, we are eager to get started on the fun stuff, the changes, but it's so important to spend ample time understanding the current state. Try to rein in your team, study the map, learn and question everything, and even go back and visit the Gemba if questions arise that need a firm answer versus a guess. In upcoming lessons, we'll discuss how to prioritize ideas on the value stream map, develop sub-teams to work on these priorities, and conduct PDSA small tests of change. So stay tuned. In summary, the value stream map is a visual representation that documents the flow of information or materials and people in the value stream so the current state can be analyzed and improved. A value stream map is built after the Gemba walk and data is collected. It is very effective to visualize the entire system, identify waste and starburst ideas, and foster team engagement. Use the legend as a guide for icons and steps to follow, then grow into deeper levels of mapping. Remember to have a vacant wall, the mapping supplies, and a team to participate. After a value stream map is built, fully analyze it with the team and other stakeholders to learn and understand how the process is currently being performed. Then you're ready to prioritize starbursts. Now let's try it. Think of a process you perform every day at home or work. Identify the primary customer. Draw the crown icon and insert that customer in it. What are the key process steps? How long does each take? Where do the weights occur and why? What's the icon to denote the weight? Brainstorm ideas for improvement. How would you show these on a value stream map? If you need additional assistance or to set up a consultation, please contact us at info@improvepartners.org. Thanks for listening.